The West has fallen. All throughout history, humans have battled each other for control. It started off as simple as using sticks and rocks, but as humanity has evolved, so too has the means in which we fight. Wars are now fought with propaganda and manipulation, and there are always a few individuals who are immune to said propaganda. Some of those people try to spread their knowledge in an attempt to inform the general masses of the way they're being manipulated. Over the past few decades, we've seen movies and books try to push back, but sadly, even these pieces of media are able to be corrupted. Movies like The Matrix and They Live originally started off as ways to expose corruption and lies, but they have become so mainstream that anyone can use the ideas like the red pill and the sunglasses to spread their own lies and propaganda. Sometimes the best way to suppress the opposition is by using their own tools against them. Anytime a film or book becomes too popular, its message gets lost to the normie masses. But I found something that has not been tainted by mainstream media, a story that hasn't been infected with far-right capitalist greed or far-left communistic propaganda. It's a story that talks about corruption, manipulation, addiction, betrayal, and so much more. But if it's able to expose the lies of big media and all that, why haven't you heard about it until now? Well, odds are you have heard about it, but you wrote it off as nothing more than a cheap cash grab, which is exactly how they wanted you to view it. It received average scores, so it wasn't good enough to be praised, nor bad enough to be torn to shreds. I've spent the time needed to understand the subtle themes it uses in the story, and because I've spent the past 5 years getting my doctorate in media literacy, I can comfortably say that's one of the most important pieces of media to have ever existed. More important than The Matrix, They Live, Falling Down, 1984, The Art of War, or Industrial Society and its future. The game I found is called DmC Devil May Cry, and the reason people wrote it off is because it was intended to be a reboot of the franchise, but the vast majority of people refused to look into the deeper themes and the subtle messages the game had to offer.
You don't look a day over 12,000.
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
If I would compare the game to anything, it would be a Jackson Pollock painting, because the only people that criticize it are just too stupid to understand why it's good in the first place. I understand that the subtle way the game communicates its ideas may have gone over people's heads, but thankfully me and my expert team of researchers have spent countless hours and many sleepless nights analyzing everything the game has to offer. So allow me to explain how DmC Devil May Cry tried to warn you. The game begins by showing us the main antagonist Mundus, an extremely powerful demon who controls the world by putting countries into massive amounts of debt.
No, you can't have more time. You know the terms, you know the consequences. No, this is not a veiled threat. This is a direct one. Should you fail to comply, the collapse of the economy will be on your head. I will make sure that you are stripped of power, shamed, and hated.
Mundus is obviously supposed to be a stand-in for the banking company Blackrock, the most powerful bank in the world. Blackrock is able to control the masses by buying up as much land as they possibly can, and it keeps the media in check thanks to DEI mandates. DmC tried to warn us about Blackrock's rise to power in the very beginning of the game, but people just didn't catch on to it. They couldn't focus on the subtle messages of the character because the character models are so ugly on the outside. Now they are demons, but as you'll see, most of the in-game models look just as off-putting. However, this is clearly done as an artistic choice to demonstrate how most people are ugly on the inside, but if you let it build up for too long, it will eventually alter your outward appearance. The game cuts to the main character Dante, and we see him living a life of debauchery. He's drinking alcohol and sleeping with multiple women at once, going to strip clubs, which shows us that he lives life chasing meaningless flings, relying on quick and easy dopamine fixes in order to find any kind of satisfaction in life. And that's exactly how the most recent generations have been living. Gen X and Gen Z are notorious for how they live hedonistic lifestyles, and it's interesting to see how DmC predicted this. Now, a large portion of the game is called Limbo, a realm between the human and demon worlds in which you will be playing the vast majority of the game. To the average normie, Limbo is just a way to have the player fight demons in quick and flashy combat sequences. But I know that Limbo is being used as a stand-in for drug addiction. I'll go into this more later, but as I said earlier, everything in this game has some kind of metaphor or symbolism attached to it. You just have to know how to look for it, because after all, everything is political. As he's being dragged into limbo, Dante sees his guns being held up by a bra, which represents how he views women, just as objects to be used when he needs them, but then to be discarded and forgotten when he doesn't. The game is trying to set up Dante as a very antagonistic protagonist, and this gets solidified by the most infamous cutscene the game has to offer.
Not in a million years.
You see, this cutscene is showing us how Dante is denying the purity of his soul. The color white is used to signify purity, so this is clearly Dante rejecting the idea he can ever be pure in his soul. He's used to living such a hedonistic lifestyle that he can't fathom giving up drugs and women. So him saying not in a million years shows us how far gone he truly is. This mission ends with a boss fight against the demon hunter. He uses a grappling gun to hook and trap its prey. So earlier I mentioned that limbo is used as a metaphor for drug addiction. You see, combat in this game works by setting up small groups of enemies that are spaced out from one another. When drug addicts take a hit, it feels great for a moment, but eventually the effects of the drugs wear off, so they need to get their next hit. Just like how the player craves getting to the next bit of combat. So the hunter obviously represents how addicts want to escape the clutches of their drugs, but they're inevitably dragged back into their habits. So the final battle with the hunter is Dante's attempt to break free from the addictions that currently control his life, alcohol and women. Although he did defeat the hunter, Dante's hardest battles have only just begun. The second mission of the game truly has some of the best symbolism I have ever seen. It starts off with Dante meeting his brother Virgil, and they go back to their childhood home to help Dante regain some of his lost memories. It's in this level that the drug use allegory becomes even more obvious. Throughout the game, Dante gets new weapons, and each weapon is a stand-in for a very specific drug. Dante receives the Axe Arbiter and the Scythe Osiris. The Arbiter hits hard, but at the cost of being slow, so the obvious drug it represents is Colombian black tar heroin. Meanwhile, Osiris represents the blue crystal meth that plagued the United States and Mexico for many years. Alongside that, the game allows you to heal during a mission by using very specific items. However, you receive a penalty at the end of a level for using them. It's a crutch. If you can't play the game well enough, you can always just take the easy way out, just like a drug abuser falls back into their drug of choice. Old habits die hard, as they say. So as Dante receives these new weapons, he learns more about himself, how he's a half-demon, half-angel called a Nephilim. Mundus attacked his home and killed his mother, which eerily mirrors the events that took place on Ruby Ridge. As much as I would love to go even more in detail about that, I only have so much time before the feds find this video, so we must move on with the story while I still can. The next few missions have Dante trying to take down the supply of the most popular soft drink in the world, Virility.
Welcome, visitors, to the Virility Factory. Virility's secret ingredient is what makes Virility the #1 soft drink in the world. And best of all, it has been scientifically proven to improve weight loss by 21% and enhance sexual performance by 63%.
How do people actually fall for this crap?
This segment helps reinforce the themes of addiction, because addiction doesn't only apply to hardcore drugs, but also sugar and caffeine.
Obesity, stupidity, drink virility.
Energy and soft drink consumption has been on the rise with younger generations, and it's only getting worse. Virility has advertisements claiming a lot of health benefits, like an increased sex drive and weight loss effects, but the effects it has on the people is the exact opposite of all that. It's meant to keep those who drink it docile, obedient, and weak, which is exactly how real-world drinks like Soylent try to market themselves, but we all know how poisonous they really are.
Hey there. You might have noticed that I like to keep track of all the latest bizarre insults that internet weirdos like to come up with. You know, cultural Marxist, beta, cuck, virtue signaler, all the greats. One of the latest additions to that list is the term soy boy, which is used to decry everyone who's not like them as degenerate, feminized, weak losers who are also, for some reason, also leftists.
This is fucking retarded. Now I've fucked all the shit up. And I can't twist it at all.
Virility gets its mind-altering effects from the succubus, who's constantly spiking the drink, and the game subverts our expectations beautifully, just like The Last Jedi did, by how it depicts the succubus. Instead of using the traditional design of an extremely attractive woman, it's actually a horribly disgusting monster. So after Dante defeats the succubus, he receives the Gauntlet's Eryx, which can be charged to deal extra damage. So these fists are obviously a stand-in for fentanyl and other opiates like it.
Remember his face, people. If you see him, inform the police immediately, but do not approach him. He has a history of physical violence and is a known sexual deviant.
This is Bob Barbas, just doing God's work.
One of the best ways the general populace can be kept underneath the boot of the government is by using the media to control how people think. Whether it's CBS or Fox News, they both have the same end goal: to spread propaganda as best as they can and keep the normie masses in line.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things that simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Bob Barbas is the main face of Raptor News. For those of you that don't understand, a raptor is a bird of prey. They stalk their prey from high above, waiting to ambush and go for the kill. So the audience is supposed to make this association when they see Bob, because Bob is Mundus's eye in the sky. Mundus uses the Raptor News network to spy on the masses and accuse anyone that tries to fight back against his control of terrorism. We, as the audience, understand that Dante and the Order are the good guys. But just like in real life, the media can spin any news story in any way they want. Bob claims he's just doing God's work, when in reality, it's the exact opposite. Dante's goal in the next few missions is to break into the tower in Limbo and kill the demon form of Bob in order to get Mundus's attention. While he makes his way to the tower, he encounters another demon named Phineas. It's through him that we get one of the most important messages the game has to offer.
Whoa! Are you nuts?
I forget. You and I see things differently. Seeing things differently can open new paths.
What do you mean?
You only see evil in me because I am a demon. Try opening your mind. It's all a matter of perspective. As I said, I see things differently.
Before Dante reaches the tower, he unlocks his Devil Trigger ability. It enhances his power and makes the world around him appear to move slower, just like ketamine does. But if you look closely, you'll see that a small patch of his hair has turned white. Remember all the way back in the first mission?
Not in a million years.
This shows that Dante is starting to embrace who he truly is, that his soul can be purified, but he hasn't fully embraced it yet. The fight with Bob is all about fighting back against corporate advertisements. News networks are able to show as much gratuitous violence as they want, and then immediately cut to an advertisement or a commercial. After you beat him, you obtain the Aquila. They're fast, but don't deal too much damage, so they obviously represent marijuana because of how fast and constant you have to use them. There isn't much I can say about the next two missions. It's just Dante trying to help Kat and Virgil escape the compound before the feds break in. Wait, that sounds eerily similar to what happened in Waco, Texas. In the end, Dante and Virgil do manage to escape, but Kat is taken to Mundus to be interrogated. The next portion of the game has Dante trying to kidnap Lilith, Mundus's main bitch, because she is pregnant with his child. So Dante and Virgil plan on trading their lives for Kat's. These stages are also critiquing how clubbing has become more and more popular in recent years, but clubbing is just an excuse to participate in hedonistic pleasures that will rot your brain. And it's in this level where we can truly see how much Dante has grown as a character, because he denies a lap dance from a stripper. In the very beginning of the game, he will have loved to be all over her, but Dante is now a Sigma male. He's embraced his Sigma male grind set, and he resists the urge to have fun with her. This section is also a metaphor for how Roe v. Wade would be viewed within the next few years. The fight with Lilith hammers home the Roe v. Wade comparison by having Dante pull Lilith out of the baby instead of the other way around. Truly fantastic symbolism. After Dante captures Lilith, he and Virgil meet with the SWAT team in order to trade her for Kat. However, Virgil has other plans. The final missions of the game have Dante and Virgil break into Mundus' skyscraper and kill him. As Dante runs through the building, we see how Mundus views his employees, but a better word for them would be slaves. Remember, Mundus is supposed to be a stand-in for Blackrock, and we all know how the largest banking corporation in the world views their employees. Now, all the symbolism theories may be up for debate, but this Blackrock connection is 100% intentional on the developer's part. How do I know this? Well, when Mundus fights Dante and Virgil, he transforms into a giant made out of black rocks. During the fight, Limbo does get merged with the real world. This allows the normie masses to finally come face to face with the demons, and this can be viewed as the general public realizing that living their hedonistic lifestyles will only bring chaos and destruction. They can no longer drink their spiked goislop or pretend as if nothing is wrong in the world. So with the world freed from Mundus' control, humanity could finally be free from the demon's control. That would be the case if Virgil wasn't ready to take his place as ruler over humanity.
The path is clear for us to rule. To rule what? This. Everything.
Virgil.
You mean like Mundus? No. No. We'll be nothing like Mundus. We'll respect our subjects, not enslave them.
Subjects?
He means you. He means humans.
Remember what Phineas said about perspective?
You only see evil in me because I am a demon. Try opening your mind. It's all a matter of perspective.
From Dante's perspective, Virgil was always fighting for the same cause, the freedom of mankind. But it never occurred to him that Virgil had his own agenda. Over the course of the game, they had so many beautiful moments together that helped strengthen their bond as brothers.
We made it. We made quite the team. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better looking. Mundus is behind the vault door. Let's not keep him waiting. And I got a bigger dick.
What's really interesting is that the game has been foreshadowing his betrayal this whole time. Virgil has always had white hair, even as far back as his childhood, so we can assume that he's always embraced his more demonic side, whereas Dante only recently did. In fact, the way that they have a falling out eerily mirrors how Ted Kaczynski and his brother had a falling out after Ted's brother informed him to the FBI. Look, okay, you know what? No, fuck this. I can't do this anymore. Fuck this game. This game's story and characters suck ass. I tried as hard as I could to go full schizo. I'm sorry, but even adding in like a Ted Kaczynski meme can't even make me enjoy this game. Everything I said was pulled right out of my ass. I made it all up. It's all bullshit. I need to go play a good Devil May Cry game now so I can understand why people actually enjoy this series. Because the only way someone can enjoy this game and get through the god-awful dogshit dialogue is by making up as much crap as possible. You know how I was talking about like drugs throughout the entire video? Well, guess what? This whole time, I've been taking a non-stop hit IV directly into my main, like, left arm vein of copium. And you know what? It's time I take that shit out.